life. Belen and I, it's so weird saying Belen, Belinda. It's like I want to say my name. It's so awesome having you here. I've been following you for a really long time on Instagram and really enjoy your stories and how you share your life with the world. So, and I know that you blog and you have a full-time job. So I thought it would be a really interesting conversation to have with you in regards to the whole world of side hustling and blogging and having a full-time job at the same time. So I'm so excited to have you here, Belen.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be talking to you finally after so many months of back and forth.
Yeah, I know. It's been awesome. Getting to know you online and actually speaking to you. Actually, I think I mentioned on our first chat through Instagram that I saw you at a blogging event. I'm like, oh, it's her.
And I was like, you should have said hi.
I know. I saw you and we were gathering together for like a photo at the end, and I saw you and I'm like, should I go? But I was like so nervous.
No.
Yeah. And then, I commented on something on your Instagram and they were like, we should collaborate. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have said something sooner. It's awesome to have you here, Belen. But for those of you that don't know you, can you give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself and how Hint of Life got started?
Yes. So I'll start basically kind of like on the personal side. Mm-hmm. So Belen, I was born in South America in Ecuador and moved to the U.S. 16 years ago. And I went to school, I did grad school, all like that normal stuff. And I worked as a marketing manager for Zico coconut water. Okay. And I started a Hint of Life 2 years ago, 2016. So this would be my third year. And I started it really as a way to share my personal stories, but also help other women that want to follow their dreams. And they probably have like a side dream right there that they want to accomplish, but they're scared or they don't have the support or they don't know how to. And I started it based on that. I was working at a marketing agency at the moment, and I thought I could use the things that I have learned into doing this, reaching more people and actually being able to help them in their life. So it's a blog. It started kind of like how you started. It started very personal, like lifestyle, fashion, like outfit of the day kind of thing. And it's been transformed into more of a website in which we share informative, informational, and actionable content for women and men. 25% of our audience is men, so they also can take something away from it to build the career and the lifestyle of their dreams. So whether they want to start a business or if they're like a really corporate person and they want to like grow in the corporate world, that's fine. Or if you want to like do more of a healthy lifestyle and like be more fit or be more healthy, it's also something for you. So it's a lifestyle, but I say that it's for women just because I'm the face of it and I'm a woman. So that's how people can resonate with it more. But yeah, I want to be the support system that people don't necessarily have. I was lucky enough to have a great support system that would go with me wherever I kind of wanted to go. And I wouldn't be able to do it without that. So I just want to be there for others that don't necessarily have the same luck that I've had before.
I love that. And it actually just kind of reminds me, I think I've been following you probably since the beginning because I actually remember your outfit of the day stuff. Like I remember all that stuff on Instagram and stuff like that. So, and how you've more transitioned to more career and personal development and stuff like that. I've seen that in like the last year. So yeah, I have been following you for such a long time. But something that I did mention to you, when we were like organizing this, is that what really attracted me to your brand is how you seem so balanced. And I say that from someone that's also side hustling, has a full-time job. I have a very demanding, I'm in the HR world. A very demanding job. I work for a nonprofit, so that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
So I wear many hats. And, sometimes it's so draining to like, okay, once I come home from work to want to do all this other stuff that really excite me. So again, what attracted me to your brand was just how you share, you're constantly on from what I see. Like normally when I'm in Instagram, which tells you how bad my habits are with Instagram, every time I'm on Instagram, I see like you're always posting something. There's always a video. You're working out, you're showing your life constantly. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, like how does she do it if she has a full-time job? Because I know you reference your job, sometimes throughout your posts and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you set up your priorities? How do you set up your day for those of us that have a hard time with that?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you. It seems like a compliment because I don't really feel like I'm that balanced. But having said that, I would say that right now, the way that I am working, so I do work full time. So my job is regional marketing manager for Zico, a coconut water brand. But I am fortunate enough to work from home. Awesome. So that is one thing that a lot of people don't know. And it's one of the reasons why I started incorporating it more into my content, because before I didn't really say what my job was. And so I wanted to be more real and share really that I do have a full-time job, but I do a hint of life because it's sort of my passion. And I want it to grow, but I want people to know that it's not as easy as it seems. Like we are so used to seeing things online, like, $1 million investments here. And like people just quit their jobs and then they start like with all this money. I want people to know that the majority of the world doesn't run like that. You have to put in the sacrifice and you have to put in the work to be able to someday leave your job and do what you really want full time. But before, in 2016, when I first started, I worked in Miami. So I worked in Brickell, and I live in Weston. And I used to commute every day over there. And that was when I first started A Hint of Life. But what I did was, instead of driving, I used to ride the bus. And so I would use the time in the bus to create content. And it took longer. I could say that it took probably like 40 minutes longer, my commute, but that was like 2 hours that I had in the morning and 2 hours that I had at night to just be with like me, myself, and my computer, writing content and organizing. And the way that I like, just going back to now of how like I keep things organized, I try to wake up early. When you work from home, it's really hard to sort of like wake up at 6 a.m. when you don't have to go anywhere. I try to wake up at 6:30. Doesn't happen all the time, but I'm usually on my computer by like 7:30 or 8. And I use that early morning to do creative things. So if I have to write a story or I have to research something, I use that time for that. And then the time comes like 9:30, I shut down my computer and then I start working on my full-time job. And then I have a quick lunch. I don't have like the hour lunch break. And then I can end work earlier since I'm just I'm going at it for a long time. I don't have like 10-minute breaks here and there.
Right.
It just goes. And then I'm done by like 4:30, I would say. Sometimes it's long. This is just like the ideal day, but some days I work really late. But then I try to go to the gym and then I come back, and I always want to have a break in between each kind of work, because I don't feel like I can focus enough if I'm working on my full-time job and then just popping up the other computer. So I like to have a break. Either I want to go for a walk with my dog, or I go and work out, and then I come back, and then it's A Hint of Life until I go to sleep. So the kind of things that you see on Instagram and like the videos and things that she's doing it all. Probably I am trying to do it all, but I would say that the most is sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of early mornings. There's a lot of late nights. Fridays, I don't do anything. Like yesterday, I stayed home just because I knew I had to wake up early today. So it's just something that I want people to know, in Instagram and on the website and everything, things look perfect. And you don't even sweat or anything. But in reality, there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm not just saying that like, oh, like everyone that starts a business has to work a lot. Like it's really true. And there's a lot of sacrifice, and like you don't see your friends that often, and like you probably can't hang out with your family all the time. And it's just, you just have to know what your priority is. And for me, my priority is to grow and to life as much as possible so that someday I can really do that full time. So yeah.
I love that so much, and you sharing that you did nothing yesterday, because I know how hard that could be. You know, I have my relationship, I have my boyfriend, and like sometimes I feel a bit guilty because it's like all I want to do is stay home all weekend and work on Thrive Rally.
Right.
That's all I want to do. Like I don't want to do anything else. Or sometimes when I come home from work, I'm lucky enough that I have a partner that loves to cook. I hate cooking. So, he's the one that's like cooking when we get home, and luckily he loves it. So like I can just be on the computer and work on things, now that I'm home and stuff like that. So
yeah.
It's hard. And like, I have friends, I completely agree. Like I have friends that I haven't seen for such a long time, but at the same time, I think, my God, I'm loving what I'm doing so much that I'm just like going
at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like trying to schedule family time. And that's why I actually try to schedule at least Saturday and Sunday, deep diving through to my website. But I try to schedule, because obviously my relationship is really important.
Yeah.
I'm more of a homebody. He's really not at all.
Oh.
So we try to schedule like a date night on Fridays, at least to say we went out during the weekend.
Right.
So those little sacrifices, and I really, I appreciate your honesty with that, because it's true. Like, it's like you're lucky enough that you work from home, but my drives in the morning are about an hour.
Right.
So I'm in Doral. I actually work in downtown Miami. So the traffic there in the morning. So I can only imagine from Weston to Brickell. That's crazy. But like as I don't take the transit, but I can just for other ideas. Like I actually love my drives. I used to hate driving in the morning when I used to live in North Miami.
Yeah.
So, Doral, because I used to work in Doral. I actually enjoy my mornings now because I take it as like my learning time, because that's when I'm listening to podcasts or listening to an audiobook. And even though I can't write notes, I know this is really bad. Don't try this, but I do it because I can't, like, I don't want to forget anything. Sometimes I actually record myself as I'm driving. Yeah. To like just jot down my ideas or anything that comes up, because I can't write them down. But yeah, I appreciate that. And it's all about like, I know like they say that there's no like beauty within the hustle, but like if you really are passionate about something, you're going to do anything possible to get, stuff done. So you going on the bus and writing those posts, like that's awesome.
And also I would say like on how you set your priorities, I would say that a lot of times we want to do it all. And we think that we can make like a 20 item list and finish it all in a day. And I have learned that it's not possible. So I really like every day I just write like 3 things that I have to finish that day. Because if not, I will never leave my little office that I have in my house. And I would be here like all day. But it's also, it is sacrifice, but it's also, like you said, it's about balance. So like there are days in between my week that I'm not working because I would like be dead. Actually, as an example, last week I worked every single day, morning and night, and on Saturday I had a fever, so it's not good. So I have learned that also, like as much as you want to do something, as much as you're passionate about it, it's also really important to know your limits and to really like care about yourself. So if there's like a day in between the week, normally for me it's once a day, because Flanagan's has the wings and beer for like $10 or something like that. So that's normally the day that I go with my boyfriend out. And it's like right in the middle of the week. So then you're like, we've been out, we've done something fun. Okay, now let's concentrate again. And
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, talking about going back to what you mentioned regarding setting your priorities, and you have like your three main things. I know how important tools can be to help be efficient, especially for us that have some or doing so many things.
Yeah.
Do you have any like tools or any productivity tools that you use, or any techniques that you used to kind of help you be more productive?
I am very old-fashioned in that sense, although we live in the online world. But I have a notebook, and in that notebook, I write down all of my ideas and I write down my to-do list. And I always do my to-do list the day before. So, like, for example, today I will write down like all of the things that I need to do. And then on Sunday night, I will write down like the 3 things that I need to accomplish on Monday. So that's one thing. The other thing I use a lot of is Google Calendar. I schedule everything there. When I like, my workouts are there because because if not, I won't forget. But it's just a reminder that it's there. Just like sets you back to how you want to live your life. So my workouts are there from Monday through Sunday because I know I'm not going every day. So it's just a reminder for me to like think about it every day, and I go at least 4 times a week. That's really like my me time that I needed to be like a good person. But Google Calendar is there all the time. And then from blogging, really, all of the productivity hacks that are out there, like for Pinterest, I use Tailwind. It really helps me with scheduling and not having to think about it like too much. Buffer, like any scheduling platforms online are really good for the website side of things. And then for like personal and business side of things, it's really like to-do list for me, my notebook that I write all of my ideas. If I'm listening to a podcast or something, it's the notes on my phone. And then Google Calendar that just sends me like reminders like 15 minutes before something is due, or 15 minutes before that I have to like jump on a call like this. I just do Google Calendar all the time.
I love that. I've been trying to get into Asana and trying to like block, like have like my projects, and then, you know, adding into my calendar for those specific projects. That's really hard for me. I'm trying to get into a habit of actually putting everything down that I want to do, because it really does give me satisfaction just putting the check mark on it, and or even writing things down. I actually am a mix of both. I like both. So yeah, those are great. So Belen, so you mentioned like Buffer and stuff like that, and Tailwind. I know for me, and us being like pretty much a one-woman show, I know how important that could be. So for Buffer, just so people that are not familiar, I don't use Buffer. I honestly manually, I guess, share my content like other platforms. So like with Buffer, for those that are not familiar with it, is it sharing it to like Twitter? Like what platforms does it share it to, or how does that work?
So Buffer is a scheduling platform, and they have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and Pinterest, and actually Instagram now. But I have the free version. I don't pay for it. So I think I can only have 3 handles, and I use it primarily for Facebook and LinkedIn, because Facebook and LinkedIn are really like some traffic drivers for my website. It's where like my audience kind of is all the time there. And then Twitter, I tweet on my own, really, like whenever I hear a quote or something, I just tweet it, but it's just more of a personal thing. Instagram, Buffer. So you schedule it there. You write like the copy that you want it to say, and you put your link, and then it auto-populates the best time for your social media to post. So once you start posting, Buffer will analyze your social media, and it will say like, this is the time when you get the most engagement from the post that you post.
Awesome.
And so then you have like set times from Buffer. I think it's like 4 different times throughout the day, and you can schedule all those 4 times. And then Buffer will continue to analyze it, and then give you like the most precise time that your audience is going to engage with whatever you're posting.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know it's something like, I think I've maybe dabbled with it a little bit, but I didn't know it could be a free tool and you can use about 3 handles.
Yeah, so the only thing is that there's limits. So you can only do 3 handles, and then you can only post a certain amount of tweets. I think it's I think it's 15 within the 3 handles. So when you reach 15, it tells you like, oh, you need to upgrade. But I just then go, like if I have 15 posts from Monday through Friday, I just go Friday night and continue to upload the next schedule that I want.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Super cool. And what do you use for Instagram, or do you use anything for Instagram?
Yeah. So for Instagram, I use Planoly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So you can do, actually now you can also do stories. You can also schedule your stories there. So I use it just because I like to take like a couple of hours and just plan out the content. And then it's not an auto post. I think you have to pay to be an auto post, but again, I'm not paying. So I get a push notification to my phone whenever it's time, and then it just pops open into my Instagram, and I hit publish, and then it publishes. I do that whenever, do it mostly with posts for the website. So if there's a new article on the website, I schedule it on Planoly. But anything personal, like me and my outfit of the day, or like me with my coffee or whatever, I do that like automatically as it happens.
Okay, so like a manual thing. Okay. That's awesome. And do you know, just questions, because I love these little strategies and like meeting other people and knowing what they do. I find it so important to just gather that information. So for Planoly, can you actually get notifications for your stories as well, or is that a paid as well?
No, you can get it also.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can do both unpaid. I think it's a limit of 30. So like you have 1 story per day and like 1 post per day for the month. But yeah, it works the same way. You do it on your phone, and then because it's also an app, so you can do it on your browser, you can do it on your phone. So what I do is like I go to my Instagram and do the story, but then I just save it to my phone, and then I put it on Planoly and schedule it for the rest of the days.
Very smart and strategic, especially when we're on the go constantly.
Yeah. Because then like it's like the middle of the day, and then you just have to hit publish, and then it's like you didn't really do anything, you just publish it.
No, that's perfect. So Belen, you mentioned, and I'm sorry, there's certain questions that
you're fine. Yeah.
that are
it's
like
okay.
outside of the list that I shared with you, but you mentioned your podcast and writing notes and stuff like that. What podcasts do you listen to, or what are your favorites?
I kind of go back and forth. Right now I'm really enjoying Second Life. It's by My Domain, which is Who What Where. I don't know if you follow. It's an Who What Where is it's like one of the first shoppable online websites that started the whole online stuff.
Oh, cool.
And they have a couple of other websites. One of them is My Domain, and they just launched a podcast called Second Life, and it's about it's Second Life because it's like all these people that have had these amazing careers, and then somehow they stopped that career and they started a different thing. Whether it was their own business or they went into a whole different area or industry. It's like the second life of a person and how they started it and how they succeeded in doing that. But I also love Girlboss. It's a good one. And then one that I really enjoy, it's by Yoga Girl. I don't know if you know who Yoga Girl is, but she is based in Aruba, and she's like this international yoga teacher. And I've followed her for years, and she has a podcast in which she just basically like sits in her bedroom and just talks about her week or things that have happened, or then her husband joins and they do like conversations together. That's more like a personal development one. She just talks about things that happen to her in like her regular life that are also happening to us. So it's really refreshing. But then the other ones, Second Life and Girlboss, are more like business or like motivation. Every time I hear something like that, it's like, okay, I need to go back to work. There's so much stuff to do. But yeah, those are the 3 ones that I listen to.
Oh, cool. And I've listened to Girlboss. I used to listen to that one like religiously. I used to love it so much. After I read Sophia Amoruso's book. You went to her conference, right? Like the
I did.
Girlboss rally. How was it?
It was great. I went last year, actually, and I have been going to conferences. I don't know if you're aware of Create and Cultivate.
Yes.
It's like, so I started going to those conferences, and then Sophia launched hers, and I was like, oh, let's see what is the difference, or which one I like the most. And Girlboss is cool because it's not only for blogging and it's not only for content creators, it's really for entrepreneurs or like corporate people really that want to make a change in their careers. And it's a day-long thing, and it's very tiring, but it's really inspiring. Panels, people talk about their experiences, they have different conversations. So I thought it was good. I just love Create and Cultivate, and I love in Create and Cultivate, it's more I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's more real people, right? It's like people like you and me that really want to do something, and you have the owner of Create and Cultivate, who's really just a normal person. She's actually from Florida, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she just really worked really hard to do what she has done, and she has no investment. It's all of her money, and it's a great conference, and her team is only like 5 people. So that's what I like the most about Create and Cultivate. Girlboss, it's cool. You get a lot of information. There's a lot of like celebrity names that go to the conference. But it's more of like that venture capitalist thing. Like you need to sell off your company. You need to like exit and make millions. And well, that is all cool. And I'm not going to say that I will never take an investment, but it's just not as real as the other things.
That's really interesting because honestly, I was just speaking to someone regarding Create and Cultivate because I see some of the celebrities that are at Create and Cultivate that I'm not honestly a fan of, or I don't understand why why they're there. Specifically one celebrity that has gone the last 2. So not everyone, just one. And honestly, that turned me off for the company because of that one celebrity, because I keep seeing it everywhere, like popping up everywhere. Like, oh yeah, you need to go to these events and this person was there. And I'm like, but that person didn't do anything to become really a celebrity. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So like, yeah, that kind of turned me off, but that's really interesting to hear that. That's really good to know because I went to my first conference this past April. And I'm already like planning out my next one for next year.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Rachel Hollis's Rise conference in Los Angeles, California. This was her second conference. I read her book. It's called, I can't even think of it right now. But it's called, oh my God, I can't think of it. Girl, Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. And I read her book. She has a podcast. And I just love her honesty. Like she just tells it how it is. And she's another one that's like just scrappy entrepreneur that just makes it work. And she has a huge like tribe. And I like her whole thing of like she started her multimedia company with just a high school diploma and a Google search bar. Like that's her little line.
Oh yeah.
And I love it so much. And it was awesome. It was an amazing conference. I went by myself to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I've never been there. Met such amazing women, and even one that actually lives in Miami. So like we hung out once or twice. So yeah, that conference was great, but I'm already planning to go to, I've recently been intrigued by this guy named Mastin Kipp. He has this book called Claim Your Power, and he was here recently in Orlando, and unfortunately I had a work event, so I couldn't go. But his next one is next year in North Carolina. I'm already planning to go.
Yeah.
I love those.
There's all these different like conferences. There's one called Blog Her. Also, I don't know if you've heard. And yeah, it's just so many things happening all the time that like, which one do you pick? Because they're not cheap either. So
they're not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and luckily for Rachel Hollis, I think the most expensive thing was just Los Angeles is expensive. The hotel,
right?
But the ticket wasn't so bad. But
was it one day?
It was a 2-day conference.
2 day. Okay.
It wasn't too bad. But yeah, I mean, next year, she actually changed the location for next year because she's having another one next year to a more like affordable location.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, like those things are really great. And I feel like they really put you outside of your comfort zone. I think one of the main like things that I kept hearing when I went to that conference, how everyone was going by themselves. They were leaving their friends, their partners to just work on themselves. So I find that I love those things so much. Ever since Rachel's, I'm just like, when's the next one? Because I love it so much.
Oh, I want to read her book.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Her next book, I'm already excited. It's Girl, Stop Apologizing. Comes out next year.
I need to read that.
So good. But let's go back to your blog, Belen.
Yes.
Getting off topic. I'm interested to know, I know that you've, you mentioned how you were first starting with more, it's still lifestyle, but you mentioned in the beginning was like a lot of fashion incorporated and things like that. Mm-hmm. So what are you currently working on for Hint of Life? And what do you envision for the future for it? Just interested to know.
Yeah. So I switched over a little. I still post fashion stuff, but more on career, personal development, just because whenever I posted those things, I've received more engagement and more, like, people were more interested about it. And so that's how it's shifting. What I envision for the future, what I'm working on, I am working on making Hint of Life more of a website rather than a personal blog. So I want it to be, although I am aware that maybe for a long time I will be the face of it, but I want to bring different perspectives into it. Different faces, different backgrounds, different points of views, just different people to contribute to the site and bring their own opinion to a certain subject. Always, of course, under like the Hint of Life voice, I would say. But that's what I'm working on now, just expanding that different like point of view. Just because I think it's really important. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone has the same path. And if it's just me saying the things that happen to me all the time, then I feel like I'm closing a little bit the eyes of the world, I guess. So that's what I'm working on. I'm also bringing in guys. So it is a women's website, but I think a lot of times we kind of like push over the guys, even like in this day and age of the world and like what's happening in the world. But I think it's also really important to note that not all the guys are bad, really. And there's a lot to learn from them. So like my role model, my hero, I would say, it's my dad. And like I learned a lot of things from him, from the business world, from like small business things. And so I want to bring more of that into a space that is for women, but we don't hear that men's opinion all the time anymore. We don't really pay attention to it, and I want to change that because I think we need to coexist and we need to learn how to do that, and we can both learn from each other.
Like that.
Yeah, and then the future, really do it full time. Yeah, just like expand a little bit on it. I know that if it's always me, I like to have control of it, yes. And I like to always keep like the same voice or the same vision, but I know that at some point I have to like let go a little bit and get some help. If I really do want it to grow, it's not going to be just me by myself all the time.
Right.
So also like part of the reason why I want more contributors and how I want to partner with other people, they don't have to be bloggers. They don't have to be in the online world. I can bring in nutritionists or things like that to just talk about a more healthy lifestyle. It's just a way to expand the reach, expand the voice, and just keep it growing.
Love that. And just what you mentioned regarding, including men in your blog and your website. I have to say, like, one of the things that you share on your stories, I believe, is how like you and your boyfriend like are doing courses together or learning things together. Let me tell you, I love those things because I kind of wish I had that. I'm like more of the personal development, constantly reading, can't get enough of it, podcasts constantly. And or I'm sharing something about, like, I'm learning about crystals.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend's like, what the hell is that shit? Like, he just doesn't understand it. He can't listen to podcasts in the car. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just drive and like listen. How is that so hard? But I'm trying to slowly get him into it because I find it so important. But I love that you share that and how you guys do that together. That's just so you know, because I
thank you
incorporating that. I love that.
Yeah, I think it takes a while. Also, I'm not gonna say that it's like from the beginning it was like this. But it's good to have him really like on my side, I would say. And I wouldn't be able to like do this day in, day out if he would be like, let's go drink, let's go blah blah, like it wouldn't work. So yeah, we do a lot of things together actually.
That's awesome. And no, you mentioned like also like about starting the blog and how you had your support and you want to provide that support to others. Now, the reason why, and I mentioned to you before we got on regarding Thrive Rally, is that I was really lonely blogging. I didn't know any other blogger friends. And when I started Thrive Rally, I really wanted to branch myself out, even though that's really hard for me because I'm a huge introvert and I'm super shy. So I made it a point to go to conferences, as I mentioned, to go to those blogger events, to try to meet other people. And my experience has been just wonderful. And I've purchased programs where we had like private Facebook groups, and I've met with other women that are kind of starting to want to do the same thing. So I'm interested to know, do you have like your own tribe to support each other, or is that something you would like in the future? I'm just interested to know, like, what type of support system do you have?
And yeah, it's my family, I would say. Support system in terms of like other blogger friends, I would say I have a few, or people that are trying to do something like a side hustle. I have a few that I could say like, oh, we are friends and like we can talk about this thing. Actually like 3 people. But it's really hard because when you go to this event, and I am also a shy person, so we're in it together. So when I go to this event, it's really hard to just like go up to someone and say like, oh, hey, I'm Belen. Nice to meet you. Let's blah, blah, blah. Like, no. So it's really hard to find that person that you can connect with and without being like terrified to talk to the person. And I am trying to be more of that person that goes to the event and talks to people instead of waiting for people to talk to me. Because I feel like there's a lot more shy people in the world than there is outgoing people. So I'm with the shy people, but I want to be the other way. So my support system like online would be like those 3 friends that I mentioned, now you. And then my family, really, like my mom, my dad, my sister, my boyfriend. My brother lives in Colorado, but he is also, whenever he's here, they just get it, I guess. And they're never like, oh, like you're not doing anything, or why are you working on that? And it's just like my mom takes my pictures, my sister takes my pictures, my boyfriend takes my pictures, my dad, like everyone does it. So that is kind of like the support that I'm talking about, really. When I first started, it was just like, we're gonna do this, and my dad is always giving me ideas, like if he sees something, he's like, you should do that, or if he meets someone, he's like, you need to interview that person. So What I mean by like support is really like having I would say like business partners that no one's really making any money off of it, but they really support what I do, and they're not telling me to stop doing it or like asking or questioning why I am continuing to do it 3 years later. They're very like, I get more frustrated. I'm like, oh, I need this to work now. I want more. And they're like, don't worry, like it takes time. So they're never like, yeah, it's okay, 3 years, you don't have to do it anymore. They're more like, you need to like continue. And if you keep doing it and if you keep working hard, then it will work and you will be able to do it full time soon. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's so true. I feel like it's just really important to have that support system. And also, I think for me, I'm that person that I have a hard time with compliments, specifically from family, because I feel like you're just saying that because you love me. That's why also I really wanted to reach out to others outside of my family circle, because like I want someone that's actually doing what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And it's important just to surround yourself with those people as well as family that really motivate you and stuff like that. Even Rachel Hollis says, you are a combination of the top 5 people you spend your most time with. So I was like, man, I need to spend time with smarter people or people that are maybe just one step ahead of me. Or, you know, like I mentioned that I purchased this course and I now have like a blogging bestie. Like she encourages me, I encourage her. She now has a podcast, and maybe like she doesn't know things about Instagram, so I help her with that, or she helps me with other things. So, and we kind of have been kind of like accountability partners where like we kind of like just push each other, and it's just been great. And I feel like that's really great to have, because I didn't have that for such a long time. But yeah, that's great also like with the family. Like my mom does not know what a podcast is when I was part of one. But you know, she still encourages me to do whatever I want to do. And I think that's really important when you want to create something outside of the norm of society.
Yeah, and also like my mom doesn't really understand what I do. But you know, it's just like, yeah, keep going. I'm like, okay.
I guess as long as they see that you're happy, right? Like they're just like are excited for you.
Yeah, I think so.
But another thing too that I wanted to know, again, I love knowing what tools people are using, or any sort of resources. Blogging, I mean, it's pretty, I guess, kind of simple, where you just need like a, domain or, your website, WordPress, Squarespace to start posting things. But do you have any resources that you constantly go to? Are you currently taking a course, or was there a course in the past that you loved that helped you move forward, that you can share with the audience?
I use WordPress for the blog, and then a course that I'm actually taking a course now, but it's more on digital marketing. So it's everything like SEO, AdWords, pay-per-click, Google rankings, and all that stuff. And it's kind of like a forum kind of course. So you pay like monthly. And then you are able to watch videos, and then you're able to talk to the owner of the of the course. So like if you have any questions, he can help you. But I really wanted to do this course because, like I mentioned, I want Hint of Life to be more of a website rather than a personal blog. And for that, you need a lot of like learning and insight into search engine optimization. And I'm starting to do like AdWords campaigns and all that stuff. So I don't really just want to do it without knowing the ins and outs. So I joined this course, and this is the course actually that I'm doing with my boyfriend.
Awesome.
Yeah, but in terms of like blogging courses, I haven't really done any. I really just look for things online. If someone has like a free ebook or something like that, like I join the mailing list and I read it. But yeah, I think like there's a lot of things for free that you can find to help you get started. And also like the things that I look at is look at other blogs, look at other websites and see what they're doing. Like just by like, if you pick a website and you look at it for an entire week, and you study that website for a full week and you study like their social media and what they're doing, you can learn. You can learn like how big their stories are, how many pictures do they put in there. If you click on the picture, where does it go? What times do they post on social media? Like, and all these things really, not to say that you have to copy people, but it's a good way of benchmarking. Like, if this works for them, I'm going to try it my way. And I do that all the time. I look at websites and I'm like, oh, they're doing their titles like this. They must work. So then I try it on my site. And if it works, I continue to do it that way. If it doesn't work, then I continue to do it how I was doing it before.
That's really smart. Yeah, if you're looking at someone else that's maybe in close to your niche of like whatever your topic is, that's smart to do, to know like what type of keywords they're using or when they're posting. Yeah, that's super smart. And another question, I know we mentioned like the resources of podcast being another learning tool.
Yeah.
God, I don't know where I would be without podcasts. I love them so much. Is there any books that you recommend? I know you share a lot that you read on your Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm interested to know, what books would you recommend to the audience?
Yes. Actually, 3 books I would recommend. No, 4. Okay, so the first one, 2 are from the same person. Her name is Gabby Bernstein. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's like the #spirit junkie. And I read her book, The Universe Has Your Back, and the Judgment Detox. Yes. And they're both awesome. I would recommend that you read The Universe Has Your Back first, just so you understand more of like who she is and like how she works. But then the Judgment Detox really is more of like a practice it yourself book. She tells you how she does it and then for you to do it. And she gives you like the step by step. And I think it was a really good one. And I recommend it because a lot of the times judgment, we think of judgment of how you judge others, but we don't really necessarily think of judgment how we judge ourselves. And I think the most important thing is how you judge yourself, because that represents how you treat others. So she just talks about how when someone is judging others, it's because you see yourself in that person and you don't like that. So that's why you judge someone. It's a reflection of yourself. It's a reflection of you.
Yes.
So the Judgment Detox is really to detoxify yourself of like the thoughts that you have about you, and then after that, then you can work in detoxing your thoughts about others. So I think that's important just because it clears your mind and you kind of like reset to do whatever you want to do. And then I recommend Tuesdays with Maury. I don't know if
I read that book, yes.
Yes, it's really good. It's a short book and it's really easy to read, but it really gives you perspective about life. So I think that one is good. And then the other one that I would recommend is It's Okay to Be the Boss.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and it's more for people, I would say like, it's more for people working in an office, working in a corporation, and if you're managing people. And then you can take some things if you're running your own business, because it helps you to think of what you would do if you were managing other people. Again, it goes back to you wanting to do it all and learning that you can. And so this book really gives you perspective, and like organizing gives you perspective in how you would treat others, because you wouldn't treat others as you treat yourself sometimes. And really like how to be your own boss, because that's important. Like if you are a business owner, you're like the boss of everyone, but you're also your boss. So learning to be a good manager for yourself is really important.
I love that. I have to pick that up. I'm also into audiobooks. So yeah, that's great. And I've read The Universe Has Your Back. That is a really great book. I recently purchased Judgment Detox. So I do need to finish reading that one. Great suggestions. But Belen, just so you know, before we head into the last question, I just want to say thank you so much again. You shared so much good resources, and just hearing your story and hearing how you manage your day to day. I think, again, that's what's so important about community and getting to know other people that are, trying to do the same thing as you are. Because what might work for me might not work for somebody else. So it's good to get back from so many others. So thank you so much again for being a part of this.
Thank you.
I greatly appreciate you. It's great to finally talk to you and see you face to face. So thank you again. And I'm sure so many people will get so much out of this conversation. But the last question I have is, what would you tell someone that's maybe starting out in blogging or wants to start a business or any sort of creative venture?
I would say to research what's out there and research what is needed. Okay, so let's rephrase it. See what's out there, see what you like and what you're passionate about, and then pick 3 people that are already doing it and how you can do that better. Because I think that, so we've heard about this a lot, that, the blogging world, the online world is saturated, and there's no space for anyone else, really. But any business, any industry is saturated. And the people that make it is because they're doing something different about it, or they're doing it in a different way, or they're talking different, or they're presenting their business in a different way. So I don't think that you have to be 100% unique. You can take a concept and make it your own. So if you're starting something, first, know what you're passionate about and what you think that you can be doing day in and day out for a long time. I would say at least 5 years of you just doing it yourself. And then see what's out there, pick the 3 top companies that you like that are doing what you want to do, and then see how you can do it better, how you can improve it, and then start. I think the hardest thing is to start, and then the hardest thing after that is persistence. Anyone that is starting a business, I'm just going to say that you need to be persistent and you need to be passionate about what you're doing. And you cannot expect to make money in the first month. It might happen, and that's amazing, but I'm just saying, my studies are in business. So I have a master's also in business, and any startup is really a normal way that you start a company. It's 5 years until you really hit your consumers and until you really hit that profit level. So you need to look at it as in that way also. I know that we're used to seeing all these amazing stories online. We're on our phones all the time, and you see they started this, they quit their job, they're making $1 million. Yes. But that's the exception to the rule. Any other business is really going to take longer. And I'm not saying your business is not going to work or anything, but just know that an entrepreneur, a business person, even if you're a blogger, you are a business owner. It's going to take a while, but you need to be persistent, and you need to know how you're different from others in order to keep going and to keep growing.
Right. Love that. And so true in regards to when we look, we just get so consumed with now, especially with social media, of look at this person, they seem to have it all, I want what they have, but sometimes we forget everything in the background, or everything that it took to get to where she is now. So I think it's really important to kind of step back and think she wasn't an overnight success.
Right.
It took years. And I hear stories I'm obsessed with Amy Porterfield and people like Rachel Hollis, and they share their stories of struggle, how they were Amy Porterfield used to work for Tony Robbins, and she wasn't fulfilled because she wasn't doing what she really wanted to do. And it took some time for her to actually get to where the superstar that she is now. She's so amazing. So I think it's just amazing to put that in perspective and to kind of think this little hustle, it's eventually going to work itself out. So I love that you shared that. And again, it's also about being consistent and being persistent to to your hustle. So love that. And I'm glad you shared that with everyone.
Yeah, but do it. I think everyone needs to do whatever they are thinking of, because the time really is now. If it's not now, it will never be the time. And the people that love you will understand, and the people that don't, then they really don't really have to be around you that much.
Yes. Love it, love it, love it. So Belen, thank you so much again for all of your advice and all that you shared with us today. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. I'm sure anyone that has a side hustle or anyone that wants to start something, any sort of creative venture, will get so much out of this conversation. So thank you so much again for being on Thrive Rally.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.